Welcome to Table Talk. Today we're going to talk about how to play Azul, the first game in the Azul line, and it's 2 to 4 players, 30 to 45 minutes, ages 8 and up. To set up the game, the first thing you're going to do is give each player a player board and a score marker and put that score marker on 0. Then you're going to set up the factory displays based on the amount of players. In this case, I'm setting up for a 2-player game, so I will only use 5 and place them in the center of the table where everyone can reach them. Next, you will place the start player marker in the center of that, and then you're going to set up by placing 4 tiles from this bag onto each of the tile displays. Once you have set up the factory displays, you're ready to start the game. The game is played over multiple rounds. Each round consists of 3 phases: factory offer, wall mounting, and preparing for the next round. First, we'll go over the factory offer. The way the factory offer works is you'll take tiles of one color from either one of the displays or from the center of the table. So in this case, I will take the 2 blues and I will put them on my player board on one of the pattern lines. Has to be on one, I will put them here. It is alright that it is not complete, I will complete it later. And then the tiles that I do not take, I will then put in the center. So now that if someone wants to take from the center, it is an option. My opponent will now take their turn, take 2 tiles, and put them in the center. Now, if I want to take the center, I could take, say, the black. But if I do so, I will take this start player marker, and if I take it, it will go on this floor line down here. For each tile in the floor line will consist of a penalty. The first 2 will be 1, the next 3 will be 2, and then -3 points. I'm going to take this blue, in which case I can use to complete this one, or I can start a new row of blue, or maybe even up here. I'm going to put it here though. Then my opponent will take their turn. I will take these from the center. Now since I took the center, I will take the first player marker. Now, if I ever take tiles, in which case, let's say I take these, and I cannot play them, or if I put them in a row, which I have more than can fit on the row, the excess will go to the factory floor for a penalty. Now, that would consist of the first phase of a round. The next part will be the wall mounting. The way wall mounting works is this is when the scoring and penalties will be taken into account, and you'll start from the top to work your way down to the bottom. And you will take 1 tile from each completed row and move it over and score it. So in this case, I'll move this over. This will be worth 1 point. Then I'll take this one over, I'll move this and score 1 point for that one. Any excess will then be put in a discard pile, usually back in the box, and be cycled through when the bag is out of tiles. Now, when I move this one, since there is more tiles or is adjacent to another tile, this will be worth 2 points. When scoring, you will score everyone in the column and everything in the row that is adjacent. If I place this one over here, that will count as 4 points. 1, 2, 3, 4. In which case, this is counted twice because you will count it for the row and the column. So then these will go away. And since these 2 rows are incomplete, I will not score them, but they will carry over to the next round. Now I do have 2 tiles down here, which are penalties. So I will lose 2 points. Each of these tiles being a -1. I'll take 1 that will go into the discard pile, and the start player marker will go back in the center. And I will set up the next round. My opponent will do the same. And then after they are done, we'll move on to phase 3 of the round, which is preparing for the next phase. So preparing for the next round is pretty much going through the setup again, in which case, since I am the first player, I will set up the factory displays by putting 4 tiles on each one, and then take the first turn. Now that I have set up for the next round, we are ready to start over from phase 1, which is the factory offering. In which case, I will take this blue and put it here. Now, I will say at this point, it should be mentioned that since I did take this tile in the first round, that I can no longer take that tile and put it in this first row because it cannot be placed over there, as my opponent has forced me to do, take all this, and since I cannot add it to any of these rows, and I already started with this pattern, I cannot mix and match. These will all go into the penalty, as I cannot place them onto my board. We'll go through phase 2. We will score, then starting player, which will be me again, will set up the board and be ready for phase 3, preparing the board, and keep going, and so on and so forth. The end of the game is triggered when one of the players creates a complete row. So in this case, for example, when I do this, I now have 2 out of 3. As the game continues, let's say I then place this here, then here, and then once the round is going through the scoring methods and I place that one, that would be the last phase of scoring. We will score accordingly as we have been, and then we'll take into account our bonuses. Our bonuses will be 2 points for each completed row, 7 points for each completed column, 10 points for each completed color. Now, a completed color will consist of covering every tile of one type of color. For example, in this situation, I will have covered all the yellows, so that would be worth a bonus 10 points. And once you take into account the bonus points and the penalties on the last round of scoring, whoever has the highest score will win the game. And that's how you play Azul. I will mention, however, if you want a slightly tougher game, you can play with a harder variant, which will be the back side of the board. When playing on the back side, everyone must play on the same side of the board. And when you play on this side of the board, you will notice that there is no predefined pattern, and you can create your own pattern. However, there is still restrictions. Those restrictions consist of having each color appear only once in each row and column. That's how you play Azul with the variant. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe and comment down below. And we'll catch you in the next one. Bye bye for now.